beautiful people, it's your girl Jaire back with another episode of my series Road to Fame, where I am documenting the journey to my inevitable success as a musician / artist / creative. And before we go any further, I just want to say that the idea of fame is so subjective, and I know many people don't even like using that word, giving the negative aspects of the industry, the bad people who are famous, and the scandals that can come with it. But please know that my use of the word is in the most positive and lighthearted way possible, and it just so happens that that word encompasses what comes with being recognized for my musical abilities, talents, and my achievements. But anywho, if you couldn't tell by the title, on this episode we are addressing the healing of my inner child. Let's get into it. When people ask me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I always gave them the same answer. I'm gonna be a singer. Most of the time I was given a crazy look, or I was asked what my backup plan was. And there were times where I gave practical answers like photographer or fashion designer, but that was just to appease the people who couldn't comprehend a dream as big as mine. But I've always had this tunnel vision. I couldn't see myself as a doctor or as a corporate girly because it just wasn't me. And yeah, I've had plenty of jobs, including corporate, but none of them felt as aligned as creating in music does for me. I always saw myself on stage in front of thousands of people who came to see me do what I love to do. And in my young mind, I was going to be on the same playing field as Michael Jackson and Beyonce, or Brandy and Whitney Houston. The word confident is an understatement, but I knew if I studied the greats hard enough that I could create my own lane and become one of the greats myself. So I was singing and dancing as much as I could as a child, putting on concerts with my sister for my family, performing at my school's talent shows, writing to the preloaded tracks on my keyboard, just finding any way I could to be creative and artistic. I was so confident and so sure of myself back then. I mean, I am a Leo after all, but I just knew I was on the right track to stardom. However, throughout the years, I let the opinions of others get the best of me, and I lost that spark. And with that, I went into a deep chill. Scared to be heard and scared to fail out loud in fear of being judged or laughed at, especially by the ones whose opinions mattered the most to me. For the first time in my life, I was questioning if I was even cut out for my dreams anymore, and that broke something inside of me. So for years, I found myself singing when nobody was home, or turning the music up loud enough so no one can hear me practicing. And even when I did try to push the fear aside and just sing, I was shut down or belittled, and there's only so many times you can move past it before it becomes something you just avoid altogether. When I got old enough to drive, I found myself more comfortable singing or recording in my car than in my own home, where I feel like I should have felt safe enough to let go, but that just wasn't the case for me. And that doesn't mean I wasn't actually safe to sing. I was just so afraid that it truly didn't feel like I was. Of course, I had my parents rooting for me, but in my young mind, I guess I needed everyone's support to be considered good enough. So it seemed like the only way for me to put in the hours to improve was to leave my house, and I didn't have access to a studio at the time, so I was learning how to engineer and record myself in my car. And what a time that was. But let me be clear and say that I don't put the blame solely on others. I am aware that I had fears that I developed on my own, but it was definitely a lot harder to navigate considering the non-constructive criticism felt like confirmation of the doubts I had started to develop regarding my skill set. And I wanted to be confident in my singing so bad, but the fear of rejection was crippling, and I don't wish that feeling on anybody. I was on YouTube day in and day out practicing how to sing properly so that I wouldn't have to question if I was good or not. I could show up with confidence because I was educating myself and practicing. At least that's what my logic was at the time. I was watching other people cover songs and put themselves out there, hoping that one day I could do the same thing. And I tried to challenge myself and record some covers, but I was never happy enough with them to share with the world. And side note, I have recently listened to those covers, and I just want to say I am still very happy with that decision because, yikes. But even with the knowledge and the drive, the fear still persisted, and I just prayed that I would get past it someday. And well, that day actually came on September 1st, 2022. Beyonce had just released her Renaissance album that year, and the Plastic Off the Sofa Challenge was born. I like it, I love it, baby. I saw an opportunity to finally come out of my shell and be the star I knew was still inside of me. So I took a leap of faith, recorded in my bedroom when no one was home, and I uploaded my first singing video to Instagram. But I like it, baby. Yes, I like it, baby. I was so nervous and so unsure of what would come next. I mean, I had been telling people for years that I was a singer, but I had nothing to show for it. And now I'm on Beyonce's internet singing her song. Beyonce. Okay. And honestly, that was one of the best things I could have ever done. The first singing video I've ever posted on my page got over 13,000 views organically. That's the most I've ever received, even to this day. And that right there was a confirmation that I needed to keep moving forward with my dreams. After that video, I gained more and more of my confidence back, and I was getting so much love and positive feedback, and I was really excited to keep that momentum going. But my biggest question was, how can I top that? However, I didn't want to get too caught up in the numbers because it was about more than that. It was about finally putting myself out there and showing up for that little girl inside of me. I have finally found my spark again, and from there I have been consistently showing up online as an artist. And I even have my own music out now. Let's take it back just a little. I can't get away from you. If you would have told me 3 years ago that I'd be this confident in my musical abilities, I'd probably have a hard time believing you, but not because I thought it was impossible, but because the fear felt inescapable. But I can proudly say that I am now someone that can do it scared. And as I've ventured further into my career, I found myself on the other side of the screen where I'm now educating people. Period. I remember when I first started going to songwriting workshops and being so shy and quiet, to then helping run those same shops, to now helping people online through social media and through my songwriting guides, which, shameless plug, you can find in the description down below if you want to learn more or work with me one-on-one. But I always knew I had these gifts inside of me, and it feels so good to finally share them with the world. That young little lion that was watching YouTube and praying for her courage is now embodying the confident person she prayed to become. It feels good to persevere through the fear and show others that you can make it out on the other side and fully step into your authentic self. And you honestly never know who needs what only you have to offer. And believe me, there are definitely still moments when the imposter syndrome kicks in and I may not feel qualified enough in this field because I didn't go to school for it or because I don't have practical or proper training. That's my cat. Right. But I also know the work that I did put in to be where I am today, and I am honestly so proud of the musician that I've become throughout this journey. Experience is one hell of a teacher, and I can definitely say that I have years of that, so forget the practical journey. I truly like where my path is leading me. Healing this part of me was no easy task, and my message to anyone who may be in a similar position is don't give up and keep showing up. Not just for you, but for your inner child as well. You both deserve to see it through. If you've made it this far and you want to make me and my inner child even happier, go ahead and check out the link to all of my music down below in the description box. Make sure you go ahead and follow me on all of my socials to keep up with me. And if you want to see more content like this, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. That way I can continue to grow in this space and build this beautiful community up. Until next time. Bye.